Welcome back, everyone. It is Monday, March 3rd in the NBA, and I have 3 plays locked and loaded for you in tonight's NBA slate. If you are new, my name is Austin. As always, we begin videos with a recap of how we did yesterday, always being transparent. Yesterday was a 2-2 day. We lost some money because we lost our biggest play, which was Nikola Jokic's over in points. Celtics kind of changed how they've been defending Jokic. They doubled him basically all game long, let anyone else beat them, except for Michael Porter Jr., which we cashed as under, cashed Bobo's under, lost Tyler Hero's over in points. He shot 8 for 24. Can't do much about that. If you notice, we cashed both of our unders. So, man, I think we're just going to be having to do a little bit more unders. I mean, you start the game in the green. Obviously, we've talked about it in a lot more ways to cash an under than there are to cash an over. We still have an over in today's video, an over, and then 2 unders. And hopefully we can get back into the winning column. I know it's been a disaster of a last 10 or so days in the NBA. I know there's the lights at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully we're at the end of that tunnel. We can turn in a 3-0 sweep. We're certainly overdue one of those. So parlay the picks together. Let's have ourselves a day. If you are new, like I said, do me a favor. Go down below, subscribe, drop a like. Let me know your favorite picks down below in the comment section. All sportsbook deposit matches and things like that are in the description as well. Let's dive into our first play of the day, though. Let's waste no more of your time. My only over of the day is Trey Young, over 35.5 points plus assists, minus 115 on DraftKings, a 1-unit play. I like this at 36.5. I would be shocked if it went any higher than that, but I really like this spot for Trey Young. Now, if you're talking with just the matchup as a whole, the Hawks are on the road to face the Grizzlies. The total for this game, 253.5. A 250 total. You don't get those a whole lot too often in the NBA, but I think that goes to show you that this matchup is two teams that not a lot of defense and a lot of offense and a lot of transition, fast-paced game, which obviously we would love cashing a Trey Young over in points plus assists. Now, if you need an individual line, I kind of lean points, but I rather add on the assists because we know Trey Young is capable of those 15, heck, even a 20 assist type game, especially in a matchup with a total at 253.5. Now, as always, we're going to be using our trusty site, PropsMadness. Reminder, PropsMadness, best research tool out there. If you ever want to sign up, use code COS. When you hit that apply code, coupon code, whatever, COS will give you 25% off your purchase. Let's talk more about Trey Young, though. Now, obviously, I need to stop saying obviously, man. This is triggering me. On the season, in the last 24 games, hit or miss. Yeah, we get that. He is coming off a string of 3 straight unders. Now he faced the Miami Heat twice and the Oklahoma City Thunder. These are arguably 2 of the worst matchups he can get. But you see before that, when we're talking about 51 against the Pistons, 44 in a bad game, a bad assist type game against the Magic, and then 57 against the Hawks. Did require OT, so you imagine he'd probably be closer to lower 50s. But again, a lot of usage in here. I mean, we're talking about 29, 28, and 24 shots. These games, he had the toughest defenders on him, Lou Dort and Davion Mitchell. So again, I didn't expect him to play pretty well in these ones, but you look at the matchup here, the Grizzlies, not the best defense in the world. Look at Trey Young's top 3 ways of scoring the basketball. 37% in the pick and roll as the ball handler, where they rank nearly bottom 10. Free throws, they're a pretty bad team there. And then in transition, where we know Trey Young can score, but he also can dish it to his teammates. We see on above the break threes, where Trey Young shoots 44% of his points come from there. Grizzlies, 3rd worst defense there. So we have seen other guys have some decent games against them. Booker, we saw him at 28. Donovan Mitchell, 33. Halliburton had 22 and stuff like that. None of those guys really command the same usage that a guy like Trey Young does. And while he has been deferring a little bit to Karis LeVert and those guys, I really think this is a great matchup. They haven't played this year. We know that. They're playing opposite conferences. Last year, 43 points and assists. In this game, 13 assists, 30 points. I think this is a smash spot for Trey Young where he can just absolutely cook them. If you're talking about a Grizzlies team in terms of assists allowed per game, looking at a team that's what? They're 21st, so bottom 10 assists per game. I really think this is a great spot for Trey Young to dish it to his teammates that are open, but also get to the free throw line, knock down some shots. He's going to get plenty of open shots. What I do like about Trey, his minutes tend to overlap with what Zach Edey plays. Edey typically plays the beginning of every quarter, so like 4 or 5 minutes at the beginning of every quarter, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. It's kind of what Trey Young does, except he plays more than the first 4 to 5 minutes, but I like to have him starting in there with the second unit to start the second quarter. So I really think going up against Edey, who plays tons of drop coverage, Trey Young should have plenty of opportunities. I love his over in points plus assists tonight. You can add on the PRAs, the rebounds, but I don't like counting on rebounds from Trey Young. That's not really what he does. I think he tries to show up against Ja Morant on the other side. My second play, we have an under. And I considered 2 different plays for this I'll talk about another play at the end of the video that I really looked was on my radar. Only going to do 3 picks, hoping to go at least 2-1. This would be Alperen Sengun under 21.5 points, minus 110 on DraftKings. Now, Sengun and the Rockets are on the road taking on the Thunder. Now, it's worth noting almost everyone is on the injury report for this Rockets team, including Alperen Sengun. He is questionable, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about him because there's a chance by the time we're watching this, he might not even be playing. But I do think he's out there tonight, and I'm going to fade him, let's be honest. Now, on their injury report, if you were to look at it, Fred VanVleet, is out. I think he plays tomorrow. The Rockets do play tomorrow. Amen Thompson, Dylan Brooks, Tari Eason, Steven Adams, and obviously Sengun. All of those guys are currently questionable. I think he plays tonight. If he plays, tough matchup here against the Oklahoma City Thunder. But in my opinion, you probably want to play these guys against the Thunder, see where you stack up against the best of the best, then resting them and playing them tomorrow against the Pacers, unless you're trying to, wins and losses and stuff like that. I get it either way if they don't want to play him. Now, Sengun obviously has had an okay season. Was an all-star, first-time all-star. Shout out to him. We love Sengun here. But against the Thunder, he struggled. 3 matchups, 11, 20, and 13 points. Really struggling. We see where he scores his points a lot in the restricted area where the Thunder rank 3rd. So look, they are really good defense. Sure, you could say post up. Sure, it's a good matchup for him. Free throws, fine. But pick and roll, man, terrible. Isolation, terrible. Putbacks, fine. But again, this is a really, really tough matchup for centers against Oklahoma City Thunder. I'd still play it at 20.5. It looks like that's kind of where the line has bumped down to. Either way, I'm not too worried about it. We've seen Sengun obviously have some good games recently. 30 against the Kings, 23 against the Bucks, 27 Jazz. I mean, a lot of these games are pretty good matchups for him. They are underdogs here by 10 points. I think they're 11-point underdogs. When they lose, we see he's under in a little bit over half of the games. That's at 20.5. If you were at 21.5, it's only 1 difference. So not a big difference there. Losing on the road, under in 5 of 11. The game's gone over and have been pretty good matchups like against the Kings and stuff like that. End of the day, I'm pretty confident Hartenstein suits up tonight. Chet Holmgren did miss yesterday. I don't think Chet plays today. Obviously, we'll love him to play. But I think if Chet's not out there, you're going to see probably the Rockets or the Thunder go to some more of a small ball type lineup where they have, I don't know, Jalen Williams at the 5. Shout out Jada. Big game yesterday from him. I think career high, 41 points or something like that. But again, when they play, they could see him go small. If Sengun's in there, if he gets the ball, they're going to double him. But if he doesn't, they could maybe take him, limit his minutes, play Jabari Smith Jr. at the 5. Either way, Sengun's in for a terrible matchup. I'll tip my cap if he hits the over, scores 21 or 22 points against the Thunder. Tough matchup on the road, playing tomorrow as well. First half of back-to-back. If they're down by 15 points in the 4th quarter, I'd be hard-pressed to see them running Sengun into the ground. Instead, maybe rest him for tomorrow's game against the Pacers when they'll need his size against Siakam, Miles Turner, and those guys. So I really like his under today at 21.5 points. Like I said, 20.5, fine by me. If he doesn't play, whatever. We move on. 3rd play of the day. It's going to be an under, and it's a little bit juicy. But hey, man, this was a spot I had circled last night when I went to bed. I was like, I'm going to play this as long as it's on like minus 190 or 200. It's Tyrese Maxey under 3.5 made threes, minus 150 on Bet365. Now, I'm going to go back after this video drops and figure out our record on unders and threes and just unders in general on the season. I have my spreadsheet, just need to go and make some filters and stuff. I would imagine under and threes are one of our more profitable markets, and I really like fading Tyrese Maxey. Now I get it. It's minus 150. I personally would play this up to about minus 175. Sometimes I look for a juice reducer in this standpoint, but sometimes the juice reducer loses. Parlays are just sometimes not it for things like this. So I'm not going to get too cute adding on something in there. I just want to fade Tyrese Maxey and his under in 3-pointers at 3.5 as he faces the Blazers at home. Now, if there's something you don't know about Tyrese Maxey, maybe you're not plugged into the NBA, it's actually dealing with an injury. And he has been injured the last few games to the point where Nick Nurse talked about it in the post-game press conference, talking about how Tyrese Maxey, his hand is injured. Now, that's obviously a little bit important. What's the injury? Well, he's shooting and trying to learn how to shoot with 3 fingers instead of 5. I mean, woof, what are we doing? I don't really know. But again, I'm going to fade this guy. Not only is he a tough matchup against the Blazers, and we'll touch on that right now, he's trying to shoot with 3 fingers. Have fun, buddy. I love Tyrese Maxey. You guys know he's a COS Hall of Famer. But as I said, he's dealt with this injury the last 2 games. You think it's affected him? This game, 0 for 10 from 3 against the Knicks. And this game, 0 for 2 against the Warriors. And he just kind of stopped shooting threes. He went 2 for 14. So he still was driving, shooting those shots. but he stopped shooting the threes. And that is a pretty good indicator to me that this guy doesn't feel really comfortable with his finger. Instead, he'll drive and try to lay it in with his other hand or something like that. So again, in general, you see him under in 14 of his last 24 games. If you were to factor, say, Joel Embiid is out, he's under in 15 of 24. We think about this Blazers defense. The guy that's going to guard him is going to be this fella. Let me go up. Tamani Kamara. He's a really good defender, really long, a guy that just kind of is a pest the whole 94 feet. Additionally, we look at where he scores. Tyrese ain't shooting corner threes, 1% and 3% there. 39% of his points come on above the break threes, where the Blazers rank 5th defensively. So again, it is a good matchup in terms of scoring the basketball, but I don't necessarily think that leads to Tyrese Maxey making a trillion threes. I think he could have a bunch of games like, heck, he could have a game like this game against the Knicks, hit 30 points, but again, 0 for 10 from 3, ended up going other ways. I could see that happening. Played them head-to-head wise already this season. That was with Joel Embiid. 23 points, did shoot 3 for 7, but again, those looks are a lot better than the ones he will get without Joel Embiid, who commands a lot of eyes on him. So I just don't see Tyrese Maxey being left open. And if he is going to get some isolation or step back threes, good luck making them, because it's going to be a tough matchup here against the Blazers, who, as I said, 5th best above the break defense. So I look at all these stats, and I got to go and take Maxey's under. I hate doing it, but if he's going to play injured, we got to try to take advantage of it. If he makes his threes tonight in a tough matchup with an injury, whatever. Props to you, Tyrese Maxey. You figured it out in practice, but with Quentin Grimes coming on strong, he just coming off a career game. Paul George, who knows if he plays tonight, but Kelly Oubre Jr. is out there as well. They got some guys. Blazers coming on a back-to-back. Maybe their energy isn't as great, but I still think their defense on a guy like Tyrese Maxey is good. Might be the other guys that might be a little bit lackluster. So I really like his under in 3-pointers tonight. Sorry, Tyrese. Love you, or fading you. Our 3 plays. Trey Young over in points plus assists. Alperen Sengun under in points. Tyrese Maxey under in threes. Say a prayer. I just want a 3-0 day. Let's hopefully get that and build some momentum going into tomorrow. Big slate. And hopefully we can have a 3-0 day. It's been really agonizing these last 10 days. I hate coming on videos and, giving you guys losers, because you guys are used to me delivering winners. But I know this last 10 days have been worst stretch I've pretty much ever had, I think, in the NBA. But hey, we're going to move on. I've been having a bunch of what I consider to be pretty good reads. I've had a bunch of reads that I haven't given out and haven't, necessarily bet, but ones that have been on my radar, and those have been smacking. So it's all about just picking the best 3 or 5 or 7 if we have to do that. But either way, thanks for tuning in. Let's have a great day. I'll see you guys back again in the next one. Let's go 3-0. See you tomorrow. Peace.